Alrighty. Well, for my self-dedication purposes, today is Monday, February 9th. This is the trading recap. So just wanted to do it. It's pretty late, but I have to do it. But today I made $573.34. As I will show you in just a second. I gotta show you on Discord. If you guys are willing to believe that, cool. Not cool. But yeah, wanted to go over the trade, what I did, why I did it. So maybe, you can learn and that I can improve. So yeah, let's get into it. So real quickly, here in the Discord, you'll see all the alerts. And then 573, hopefully that's pretty clear. Everything, all the call out and whatnot. And you can see it right here on TradingView. Right? Pretty self-explanatory, but first, and I'd rate this trade, like before we even get into it, I'd rate this trade okay. There's some things I could have done better. Things I did really well. And yeah, definitely just things I did mediocre. So coming into the day, it was honestly a really hard read. And Mondays are typically the hardest read. But after like just this reclaim on Friday and then the retracement into Asia and London, even though Asia right off the rip kind of ripped, it put me in a bullish mindset. Okay, so let me real quickly, because this is a really good thing I should take note of. Let's go to this chart and we can get rid of that actually. So if you look at all of last week, right, because you can clearly see we pivoted here, right there, one candle over. We're in a downtrend. We left behind all this just imbalance in there, in here and in here. We filled all this, and then we filled pretty much all of that. So the last objective would have been above these highs, right? And if we had pivoted, and let's say, we're creating an uptrend, which we were, if we go look down before market open today, market open being this wick right there, trend higher, trend higher, trend higher, high time frame, 1 hour retracement was needed. So finding some type of retracement like that would be super cool. And that was my whole idea, is let's see if we can get a retracement, nice hold somewhere in this range, take out some of the lows, look to distribute up to the upside, take out Asia highs, and of course London highs and etc. And maybe eventually, not today, but maybe tomorrow, target 514 and these 1 hour and 4 hour fair value gaps that we left up here at 800, just for the short term kind of retracement. And on the daily, it does align, right? Downtrend daily, looking for a daily retracement. I think it's healthy structure was a upside, so that kind of gave me the bias into today. So then if we go back to this chart, we understand we're a little bullish with the trend read, and then just kind of overall, I will say going into market open, I definitely stayed a little open. I was skewed to the upside. I was skewed bullish, but I was also very open to seeing a bearish day, right? I wasn't locked and set on, oh, I can only take longs today, right? Just because I knew it was a low key a little rougher of a read in my opinion than I don't know, Thursday of last week. Friday really wasn't nothing. So yeah, I just came in, wanted to watch what happened, whatever, see if we took out some buy side or sell side liquidity, see where we dissipate to, and go from there. Right off the rip, if I turn this indicator on, you guys can see the different sessions. Let me get rid of this yellow line, which is a key target, which honestly I could put back. So if we look, yeah, because that yellow line is Asia highs pretty much. If I can grab it, please, thank you. Asia highs, London highs, and then London lows. Right, so first thing, when market open, we came straight down. If I turn this back off, you'll see where market open is. First candle, 928. I'm on the 4 minute, that's why. Literally first minute of market open, we came down and swept out London. Okay, I let it breathe because I wasn't gonna try and inverse this 1 minute fair value gap. I thought about it. I didn't really want to though. Could I have done that? Sure, absolutely. There wasn't anything on the 4 minute, wasn't anything on the 3 minute. It was, I don't even think there was anything on the 2 minute. No, it was solely just this 1 minute. And I didn't really trust upside that much. I think it had something to do with SPY and Qs being in a range, and it was like the top of the range. But I wanted to let it breathe in the 5 minute time frame and look for some type of retracement. Let me put this on, just make our lives a little easier real quick. Bam. Now you can see the whole move. But I wanted to let it kind of breathe out on the 5 minute just to confirm that we were getting upside instead of just waiting for that 1 minute inversion. But we got a liquidity sweep. Bam. Great move. Impulse move is what I would call this. Or, we distribute just right off the rip after that liquidity sweep. Ripped higher. And on the 5 minute, created a very nice fair value gap. Okay. If we had inverted that fair value gap, I probably could have looked short. At least back down into session lows. And the other thing it was, which I'll get to in a second, but yeah, I could have looked short from there into session lows down here, New York lows, whatever. But now that I remember, it's been a couple hours, you can see the time right there. We had an SMT. So that was London lows. And we didn't take them out on ES, but we did on NQ. So if you don't know what SMTs are, there's a video on the YouTube channel, just go watch it. But basically, if it's unequal lows or unequivalent lows in sense of like Asia London liquidity or whatever liquidity it could be, then it creates an SMT. If we're looking at the bottom of the candles, it's bullish. If we're looking at the top of the candles, it's bearish. Or bearish. Like right here, ES did not take out those highs, did NQ. NQ has neither, so no SMT. If NQ takes us out, we'd look bearish. Just short explanation. Anyway, it's all bearish or bullish SMT. After sweeping, some session liquidity, which is relatively important, created a nice 5 minute fair value gap. One of the strategies is looking for, liquidity sweep, impulse move, retest fair value gap, long. So right off the rip, I scaled into very, very minimal contracts. Like, AKA, I took what normally would be my runner size, and I entered right there with a stop under it. So my first trade was probably, I don't know the exact entry, but let's just give it there. And I was going to stop out under that. And it was on one of these later candles too. Because with the clear holds that we were seeing, a break higher, one could potentially really push us through it. And if we inverted it, then I wanted to look short with like maybe some real size. So taking a little bit of runners and eating like, probably it would have been 25% of my normal risk. It was fine. A very, very small amount. And I was okay with playing the odds with the SMT. So I played the odds, entered down here with runner size and let it try to invert the 2 minute. And for a while, you can clearly see we danced around between the 5 and the 2 minute. And I literally just sat on my hands. I mean, there's nothing you can do. But then once we came up here and we closed 170, it was 177.75 was my exact entry. I just jumped in. I took the runners, entered the rest, got into real size, and then this bracket or this position is correct. So it averaged my entry at 154.75. I put my stop at 122 in the sense of like a refill move, right? So a refill move is like you dance around a little bit, and then when you fail to like a failed breakout or something, you typically will see it retrace even more. So if this candle wasn't going to like break out and create, much higher highs, then we were just going to die off anyway. So I didn't have to risk all the way to the bottom of the 5 minute fair value gap. I didn't have risk down here. I was okay with risking 32 points to make about 97, which wasn't even my original target, which we'll get to in a second. So overall, like, this is correct. The only thing that was not correct is the target, because, and I'll tell you real quick, if I go into Discord, yeah, watching for retracement on the into the 5 minute fair value gap at yada yada. To look for a long entry, I would need to see a 5 minute or lower time frame of the leg that gets retraced. Target would be 25,215. Oh, I think that was way early. Let's see, what time did I enter this? It was like there. We're at the 5 minute fair value gap. Let's look for a 2 minute inversion. Yada yada yada. Trying to remember what my target was. I think it was Asia or London highs. So it would have been, because it was right above where I was exiting at. It must have been 65. 65 or something. It was a couple points. Somewhere up here was what I was targeting. And when we were up here, we could clearly see some weakness start to show up on the DOM in the 1 minute and everything. So I took it off just because, like, if my target was like 62 or 63 and I'm risking, I don't know, a couple bucks or looking to make an extra couple bucks, I was okay with just taking it off, because especially by now, I had break even right here. So once we smashed through that point, my stop went to break even. I had no risk in the trade. And then as we got up there, P&L was fine. I was happy with where I was on the day. Didn't want to get greedy, and so I took it off. And that was the overall trade that I caught, 97 points. But what I could have done better is stuck to my original idea. Let's go to 5 minutes, see if I can see it. Part of me feels like it's exactly that. Let me get rid of this. Oh, I deleted the wrong one. It was either that 15 minute or this one. 63.75. I feel like that was the thing. 63.75, I think, was my first target, my original target, with it being London highs. Is it London highs? Yeah, that is London highs. No, it's not. It must have been that 15 minute fair value gap. I don't remember exactly what it was. But there was no point in just like risking all of that for that. Because if we had come down and let's say we just didn't see anything play out and we just kept dropping lower and I get stopped out for break even, it would have kind of annoyed me. So I just took profit where I could, called it a day. But I guess technically doing something better is believe in the full idea, putting stop at break even and not touching it. Once again, something that's kind of debatable and discretionary, in my opinion. I think front running the little bit of runners right here was a really good idea, especially when paired with an SMT after a pretty important liquidity sweep, so a session liquidity sweep, and then an impulse move, right? This alone is a strategy. Waiting for, technically in this scenario, waiting for an inversion is just an extra confluence, right? Because some people will enter on this fair value gap, but waiting for the inversion just made the setup rated even higher. So I think that was like really good thing to do. I was happy with that. I don't think there was anything wrong with that. And then maybe arguably should have left like 100% runners in there and just been like, okay, cool, stops at break even on one contract. I'm just gonna let it run all day and I will like peep at it in an hour and see what happened, or manage it every 30 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever, so I'm not sitting in front of the chart the rest of my day. Because even then, I mean, there's a good amount of more profit at the highest point, which, I mean, not really. We're talking like an extra 160 points. I mean, it's good profit, but it's not like, 400 points. It makes me sound greedy. But, yeah, I mean, could have done that technically. But other than that, I think I had a really good trade. I'm very happy with it. Very, very, very happy with it. I mean, it's textbook. You got your bias, upside. Okay, we got an extension move on the 5 minute, liquidity sweep, impulse move, look for a retracement. Bam, we got that right off the rip. There's an A plus. That I'd say A entry, like A rated entry. And then that was a great entry. And then the inversion, entering the rest, another great trade, and paying out. Basically a 1 to 3. Basically, I'm just gonna call it a 1 to 3. But a 1 to 2.96 is amazing. That's really good. So overall, I'm very happy with the trade. I have no hard feelings about it at all. So yeah, there's a trade for Monday, February 6th. All right, I'm going to play Xbox or go to bed. I haven't decided. Deuces.